Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the 5th monthly web workshop on Fluke Connect. Today's topic is Fluke Connect mobile app reports. I will be providing you with an overview of how to create, edit, and share Fluke Connect mobile app reports. My name is Chaun Carda. I am a Tier 2 Technical Support Engineer and the Fluke lead. Before we begin today, I'd like to cover a couple of housekeeping items. The session will be recorded. Phones will be muted. Type questions at any time. Please limit questions to the topic of the workshop, and questions will be answered at the end of the presentation. So our topic overview or agenda for today will begin with a Fluke Connect overview. Next, I will provide a report overview. After that, I'll provide a review of report details, and finally, I'll conclude with questions and answers. Our first section is a quick, high-level Fluke Connect overview. I just want to cover a few basic facts about Fluke Connect for anyone that may be new to the software. Fluke Connect works with over 80 different tools in 11 different categories, including digital multimeters, clamp meters, installation testers, vibration meters, scope meters, process meters, thermometers, insulation testers, infrared cameras, power loggers, and power quality monitors. The easiest way to tell if a Fluke tool will work with Fluke Connect software is if it has the letters FC in the model name. So the 376 FC clamp meter, 1664 FC installation tester, T3000 FC temperature module, all would be Fluke Connect enabled. The one exception to this rule is our thermal image cameras. None of the thermal image cameras include the letter FC at the end of the model name, but most of them do in fact work with Fluke Connect software. And the Fluke Connect software is available in 73 different countries. Finally, one other important note, the Fluke Connect mobile app is 100% free. So please give it a try if you haven't already. Here's what the mobile app homepage looks like now. This is a brand new layout since the most recent software update. The product team has rearranged the layout so that the most frequently used area of the app is at the top. Next to number 1, you see Capture Measurements. This is where you connect your tool to the mobile app in order to save measurement readings. Next to the number 2, you'll see Setup, Logging, or Monitoring. This area is only available to those with a paid software subscription and only works with a limited number of tools at the moment, including the 3540 FC Power Monitor and the 3502, 3561 FC Vibration Gateway and Sensors. Next to the number 3, down here at the very bottom, you can just barely see it, it says Work Orders. This feature enables users to create work orders, assign them to teammates, and schedule them for a future date, among many other features. You'll also see 2 new areas. The first is under Capture Measurements here. It says View Handheld Supported Devices. If you click this link, it will take you to a page that provides you with a complete list of Fluke Connect enabled tools. The second link, View Condition Monitoring Supported Devices under the Setup, Logging, or Monitoring option, will provide you with a complete list of condition monitoring products as well. Okay, our next section is the Report Overview section, which is just a high-level overview of the types of reports available and the various report components for each type of report. So there are 2 types of reports available in the mobile app, the thermal image report and the basic report. You also see a third type of report available in the mobile app, and that is the asset report. But this is part of the Fluke Connect Asset subscription software, so we are not going to be covering that today. Fun fact, right now, for new users that register, they will receive a free 1-year subscription to Fluke Connect Assets, so give it a try. Next, Fluke Connect mobile app reports are free. Again, the mobile app reports are the thermal image report and the basic report. Those 2 types of reports are completely free. And last but not least, the Fluke Connect mobile app reports are only accessible on the mobile app. Again, that's just the top two types of reports, thermal image reports and basic reports. Those are only available in the mobile app. So you will not be able to find them on the web app or in the Fluke Connect desktop app. So next, the Fluke Connect mobile app report components. Both types of reports will contain the following 4 components. Number 1, cover page. So in the cover page, you can add your company name, address, logo, a report title, a report subtitle, and there's a free-form text area where you could also add in a description of the report or your observations and analysis. And I believe there's also a footer in the cover page. Next, number 2, table of contents. This is system generated, so you cannot change this or edit this, but it is available. Number 3, we have page layout. Here we have basic information and comments and text notes. Number 4, we've got page size, and you have 2 options to choose from, US letter or the A4 page size. In the thermal image report, there's one additional report component that's available, and that is the report summary. It's a free-form text area that you can add your analysis and observation to if you choose. So in the previous screen, I gave you a verbal description or text description of what the report components are, and this is just a visual of what those report components are. So next to number 1, you can see we're currently looking at the basic reports, and these are the report components for the basic report. So again, we've got cover page, table of contents, page layout, and page size, along with the ability to select any number of measurements we wish to include in the basic report. Next to the number 2, you'll see thermal image reports. Again, we've got the report components, cover page, table of contents, page layout, page size, and that one additional component, which is the report summary. What you'll also notice is next to the number 3 and the number 4, for each one of the report components, we have what looks like a toggle switch, and that's exactly what it is. If, for instance, I choose not to include a cover page in my report because I'm going to create something fancy in Adobe Illustrator or something, I can toggle this off and not include a cover page from the system-generated report. Same is true for the table of contents and the report summary. The next section is the report detail section, where I will show you how to create a thermal image report, because the thermal image report contains all the same steps as creating a basic report with a few extra options. So by learning how to create one, you'll actually learn how to create both types. I will also show you how to edit and share a report. After I've shown you all of those features on the slides, I will demonstrate live how to create a thermal image report and then a basic report, so you will get to see how to do both in real time. So to begin, I will start by showing you how to create a thermal image report. First, you tap the 3 menu lines in the upper left-hand corner of the mobile app to pull up the menu you see on the first screenshot. Then, next to the number 1, you'll see that you need to tap the reports option. From there, you would be able to view all of the reports that you've created, all of the mobile reports that you've created on your phone. They would be listed here, and you could go in and view them, edit them, and share them from this area. In our case, we're going to be creating a new thermal image report, so we're going to tap the Create option in the upper right-hand corner of the screen next to the number 2. That will provide us with a list of reports to choose from, report types to choose from, and because we're creating a thermal image report, next to the number 3, we would tap on this area, tap the thermal image report. Now, the first screenshot should look familiar to you. It's from the report content slide, and this is the one for the thermal image report. So thermal image report, and these are the report components, the different areas of the report that you need to build in order to create your report. Now, you can go to any area on this first screen. You could start with the cover page or the page layout or the report summary. You can choose any area of this report layout of the report content screen and go from there. But I like to start at the top and just work my way down. So I'm going to tap on this first option here that says thermal images. What the software will do is it'll automatically filter and show only thermal images so that we can scroll through our account to select the thermal images from our account to include in our report. So you can see I've scrolled down and selected 2 different thermal images. And the way you select an image is by tapping anywhere on the image itself. And that will make a little check mark, and that tells you that that report or that image will now be included in the report. Once you've selected all the images you want to include in your report, you simply click the Add button to add the selected images to your report. So next to number 1, you'll see the Add button, and you tap the Add button to add those images to your report. Now here at this point, you can see that we've got 2 thermal images that have been selected and included in our report, and that's this one and the one right below it. If we're happy with what we selected and we want to move on to the next step of building our report, we click the back arrow button, and that takes us back to the thermal image report content screen. But this time you can see instead of it saying 0 images selected, it now says 2 images selected. Okay, next we'll cover the cover page. And in order to view the cover page information, you simply need to tap the Edit Cover Page option. That brings up this particular screen, our cover page screen. And here it's very faint, but you can see company name, company info, company logo. And if we tap on this area of the screen, we'll get a pop-up that tells us we can either take a photo now to be added as our company logo. We can choose from our library of images on our phone to add to the report, or we can simply cancel out of this if we change our mind. Next, we've got report title and report subtitle, as well as an area to add additional information. This can be a description of what the report is, or some analysis or observation about the conditions that you discovered in your report. And last but not least, we've got the cover page footer. If we tap on this, we've got these options to select: created by, creation date, and custom text. Next, we've got format page layout. And in order to view the options here, you simply tap on Format Page Layout next to the number 1. And this has got a lot of information in it, so we'll cover it in sections. Next to the number 2, you've got the header option, so you can add a header to every page of your report other than the cover page. These are the options you can choose from. You can have no header. You can add created by, creation date, page number out of total number of pages, or some custom text. So if you wanted to add custom text, you could include your company name on the header of each page of the report if you'd like. Next, we've got image options. And if we tap on the image options arrow here, this is what will pop up for us. We've got 2 options, palette and infrared. That's infrared fusion visible image. We can toggle these on or off. The palette is going to be the scale, the color scale that will appear right next to the thermal image. And the visible image is simply that. It's the regular image or visible light image of the thermal image. So your customers or your managers can view what it looks like without a thermal filter. Next to number 4, basic information. If you tap on basic information, you'll get this particular pop-up. And at the very top level, if you decide you don't want to include any basic information, you can toggle that off, and then both of these will be disabled and will not appear in the report. Or if you choose to leave it on, you can, and then you can select which of these options you want to include, if any. Equipment will equal the asset name. So if you've assigned a thermal image to an asset, such as a motor or a fan or a chiller or a boiler or an electrical panel, the asset name will appear under the equipment area. And work order will give you the work order number that the image has been assigned to. Next, we're still looking at the format page layout options. We're just now on number 5. We're on the image information section. So if we tap on image info, we'll get this particular pop-up, and there's a lot of options here. Again, if at the very top you decide not to include any of these for some reason, you can toggle this off and these will all be disabled. But here we've got information or options like emissivity. This setting is selected for the image. and it adjusts the image information for different types of surfaces, like shiny surfaces, which are low emissivity surfaces, versus dull surfaces, which are high emissivity surfaces. Then we've got background temperature, which is the ambient temperature when the image was taken. Transmission, which is the adjustment that can be made based on the IR window setting. Image range, which is a range of temperatures from low to high when the image was taken. Image time, which is the date and time stamp of when the image was taken. Camera model number, that's going to be, say, TI450 or TI401 Pro. And it can be helpful if you've got more than one thermal imager that you're using in your plant. You may want to include that information. Next, we've got camera serial number, camera manufacturer, calibration range, lens description, lens serial number, etc. Some of the more technical equipment-related information that honestly I wouldn't recommend you include in your report unless your customer or manager specifically asks for that information, because it's just extraneous information and it's going to extend the length of your report. Okay, one last time, we're still reviewing the format page layout option, which is here, format page layout. We've covered 2, 3, 4, and 5, so now we're on to number 6, 7, and 8 to wrap this up. So if we tap on number 6, marker information, this is the pop-up that's presented. Again, we can turn it all off by toggling the top level option. And we can choose for each individual marker, that's hot point, cold point, center point, any custom markers that you add or custom marker areas that you add to the chart. You can include this additional information for each marker: the emissivity rating, the background temperature, min temperature, average temperature, max temperature, and standard deviation. And of course, at the very bottom, we've got footer left and footer right. We've got the exact same options for each. So created by, creation date, page number out of total page numbers, and custom text. So maybe instead of including your company name on every page in the header, you may want to put it down at the bottom. Next, we will review the report summary. And to do that, you would tap on the area that says Edit Report Summary. You'll get a pop-up for the report summary page. And in order to actually add any information here, you need to click the Add option down at the lower right-hand corner next to the number 2. Once you tap on Add, you'll see this screen where you can add a summary title and a summary description for your report. Once you've entered a title and a description, you need to tap the area here in the upper right-hand corner that says Done in order to save that information. If you happen to change your mind about adding a report summary, you can just click Cancel and cancel out of that. Remember, from the report's content section, the report summary option is only available in the thermal image report type, not the basic report type. And the last report component is the page size. So if you tap on this option here, you'll get this screen, the page size screen, and you have 2 options to choose from: US letter or A4. Now we have added all of the components we needed to our report, so the last thing we need to do is save it. So you can see here we've selected, in this particular instance, 7 images to include in our report. We've got the cover page we've turned on and we've added information to. We want to include the table of contents. We've configured all those, I think 5 or 6 different options under page layout. We've added a report summary and we've configured the page size. So now the last thing we need to do is tap the Save option in the upper right-hand corner. And then you need to wait for your software to save the software. Watch the little progress circle, wait till it gets to 100%. And from there, what you'll see is that this little number up in the top center area will flash a number 1 until the report has been saved to the Fluke Connect cloud, where it will be retrieved the next time you log in. And that information will drop down to nothing and tell you that it's actually been synced to the cloud. Now we can take a look at what we've created. To view the report we've created, tap the 3 menu lines in the upper left-hand corner of the mobile app to pull up the menu you see on the first screenshot. Next, you'll tap Reports next to the number 1. Then, after viewing all of the reports that you've created, you can tap any area in the report description. So tap in here, and that will open up the view so you can see the report that you've created. So this is the name of our company, Fluke. I included the address. This is the company logo I created. This is the title of the report that I added, Plant 1 Inspection Report, and the subtitle. I didn't include any additional information, so there's no summary of my report and there's no footer. You can see here at the bottom, I've got 8 pages in my report, and I'm currently viewing page 1 of page 8. On the next screenshot, next to the number 1, you can see the system-generated table of contents. So here you can see that we've got several different measurements in our report. The first of these measurements says unassigned, and that's because the thermal image or measurement is not assigned to an asset. The next image that we have is assigned to an asset, and that asset name is Boiler 1. So this is the asset group, Plant 1, and the asset in that asset group is Boiler 1. So the next image we have is also assigned to Boiler 1, to the asset group Plant 1. The next image down is assigned to asset Motor 1 in the same group, Plant 1. So if you swipe left, you can move from page to page. So we can move from the table of contents to the first thermal image that we're looking at. At the top, again, you can see that that thermal image says unassigned because it is not assigned to any asset. Down in the basic information area, we've got the asset name, which would appear here if it was assigned, and the work order number, which would appear here if it was assigned to a work order. Next to the number 4, we've got image info. This was the section we configured using the page layout area of the report content screen. So I selected to include emissivity, background temperature, transmission, average temperature, image range, image time, and camera model number, just to show you what it would look like. So these are the settings for this specific thermal image. And this information will appear in every single page on the report for every single image. At the very bottom, next to number 5, we've got marker information. So here you can see on this particular image, we've got a center point, which is the system-generated marker, and then we've got 2 custom markers that I added, AO and point. These 2 particular markers were added by editing the thermal image and adding them to a specific location on the image I wanted to call attention to. And for the marker information section, I selected to include background temperature, min temperature, average temperature, and max temperature. So I did not include emissivity or standard deviation because those were not important to me. So the next page, or the next thermal image we're looking at, is assigned to the Plant 1 asset group to an asset called Boiler 1. This is the thermal image that we're looking at. This is the infrared palette. That was an option we could turn on or off. And this is the visible light image, also an option we can turn on and off. Here in the basic information category, you can see that this thermal image is assigned to an asset called Boiler 1, and it's not assigned to any work order. Here's the image information we decided to include, remember, in our template, and this is the image information specific to this thermal image. You can see how it differs from the information in this particular image. And under marker information, we only have system-generated markers for this particular image, center point, hot point, and cold point. Now on the first screenshot, you see the third image in our report. Here again, you've got the asset group name and the asset name. You've got under basic information the asset name, and in this case, this particular image is assigned to work order number 3. We've got the image information we've selected again, and then the marker information, center point, hot point, cold point, and a custom marker. On this specific image, you'll note that there is a note added or attached to this specific image. This is date and time stamped with the username. So I was logged in as Riley Russell-FC, and on Thursday, August 20th at 5:05 p.m., I added a note or an observation that said, note the hot point, it needs to be monitored. So if I choose to include the comments and text notes, every single observation or note that I've written up on each one of my images will appear after the image. So if those are more internal comments for you or your team that you don't want to go to the manager, say, for some reason, you can choose to exclude that information. But generally, that's, important information to include in the report. Now that we've created and viewed our report, the next thing we might want to do is edit the report. There are two different ways to access the edit option. Here we are looking at the first way. You find the report that you want to edit, and in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see three little dots next to the number 1. You tap those three dots, and you'll get a pop-up screen here that says Edit, Delete, and Cancel. It's good to note this is also how you can go in and delete your reports. That's how you would remove them from your account. In our case, we want to edit the report, so we would tap the Edit button next to the number 2, and that would bring up our good old report contents page. So this is our thermal image report template. Here's the information about the report. We could go into any one of these areas. We could add additional images. We could delete some of the images we've included. We could change our cover page, maybe change the logo, select different options in our page layout. So if we want to display different information for our image or our markers, we could do that. And once we're done making the changes, we come back to the screen and we select Update. So this is just the same as creating a report, but instead of seeing the Save option, you see the Update option. This is the second way to access the edit option in reports. Tap anywhere on the report itself and it'll bring you up into the preview mode or the viewing of the report mode. But this time, if you look at the lower right-hand corner of the screen, you'll see a little pencil icon next to the number 2. The pencil icon in Fluke Connect always means edit. So if you ever see the pencil icon, you know that will give you the ability to edit the image, the measurement, the report, whatever it is. So in this case, we tap on the pencil icon and the report will go into edit mode, which is this screen here. We can go in and make any changes we want. And once we're done with those changes, we tap the update button. Last but not least, now that we've created, viewed, and edited our report, the next thing we might want to do is share the report. So you find the report that you want to share, tap anywhere in the report area, and it'll take you to the preview screen. And in the lower left-hand corner, you'll see the universal share icon. And if you tap on that, the Fluke Connect software will launch your email application and you can enter anyone's email address. So you can share this with internal people, coworkers, managers, or external people such as customers. If you're using the Android app, it will ask you to select which email software you want to use prior to launching the email software. In iOS, it automatically uses the native iOS email. Okay, now I will show you how to create mobile app reports live. I will start with the thermal image report you just saw in the slides, and then I will show you how to create a basic report. So what I'm doing right now is I am mirroring my phone to the computer so that you can see my cell phone screen on the computer. Okay, so first I will show you how to create a thermal image report in the Fluke Connect mobile app. So from the home page here, you want to select the 3 menu bars in the upper left-hand corner that you see here. We'll look down towards the bottom third of the screen and you'll see the option for reports. So you'll tap on reports. And here you can view all the different reports that you've created for your account. You could go in and share those or email those with someone. You can edit them. In our case, we're going to create a new report. So in the upper right-hand corner, you see the option that says Create. So tap on Create. And we've got our three different report types to choose from. Remember, the top 2 are the free ones. The third one down is part of the Fluke Connect Asset subscription. So we are creating a thermal image report. So we tap on Thermal Image Report. And again, you can start at any different option here. You can start at page layout if you wanted to and pop around to fill out the different areas of the report. I like to start at the top and work my way down just so I know I've covered everything. So right now you can see it says 0 selected. So for the number of thermal images we have in our report, right now we have 0 selected. So we tap this area of the screen and the system will automatically filter to view only thermal images. If you scroll down, you can see these are some of the thermal images that we might want to include in our report. So to include a thermal image in the report, you just tap anywhere on the thermal image itself. So just tapping in the middle of the screen. Then if I scroll down a little more, I tap again, tap again, tap again. There are more thermal images available, but I only want to include those few in my report. So here I can now see I've selected 4 items to include in my report. And if I'm done selecting which items I want to include, I simply tap the Add button in the upper right-hand corner to add the selected items to my report. So I tap Add. Now here I can see there's only 4 images available because I've only selected 4 to include my thermal image report. So I'm done selecting images for my report. So I'm going to, in the upper left-hand corner, tap the back button to go back to the main report content screen. You can see the number of thermal images selected has gone from 0 to 4 because that's what I selected. Next, I'm going to go in and edit my cover page. So I'll tap on that area of the screen. And here it's very faint, but you can see it says company name, company info, company logo, report title, report subtitle, additional information, and cover page footer, excuse me. So I'm going to tap in the top area here that says company name, and I'm going to go ahead and add our company name. Next, I'm tapping in the company information section. And here I'm just gonna, instead of typing out our full address, I'm just gonna add Everett, Washington. You don't have to add your address. You can add a company mission statement or a company tagline or anything else you want here. You don't have to use address. Next, I'm going to add a company logo. So I'm gonna choose from the library since I know I have one already saved. Under my favorites, that's the logo that I like to use. Might be handy to mark it as a favorite on your phone. So tap there, and now I've got, you can see a preview of what it's going to look like. It says Fluke Connect. I'm going to scroll down a little bit, and here I'll type in the title of my report. So Plant 1 Inspection Report, since I do this monthly. And then next here, I will type in the date for the report. And if I wanted to, I could add some additional information and a cover footer page, but I'm not going to. So I'm done configuring my cover page. So I'm going to select the option here in the upper left-hand corner that says back to go back to the report content screen. Table of contents is the next option on the list. I'm going to go ahead and leave that turned on. Next, I've got format page layout. So I'll tap on format page layout. At the very top, if I wanted to, I could add a header. I generally don't add headers to my reports, but it's up to you. You're welcome to. There's different options available there for you. Image options, if I select on this, you'll see that this is basically just a toggle. I can choose whether or not I want to include the palette and the visible light image. Those are toggles on and off. If I go back, the visible light image is this option here, and the palette is going to be this scale that appears right next to the thermal image. Next, we've got basic information. So if I tap on basic information, here, as you remember, I said if you don't want any of the basic information, you're not using assets or work orders, you can toggle all of this off and not have to worry about it. Just leave it off for your report. In our case, I want to leave it on. And remember, equipment equals asset name and work order equals the work order number assigned to the image. So I'm just going to leave this as it is. So I'm going to go back. Next, I've got image information. So here, again, we've got a whole bunch of options to choose from. And if we want to turn them all off at once, we can do that by tapping the top option there. In our case, I'm going to leave a lot of these on. Now, maybe the report that I'm doing isn't a plant inspection report. Maybe it's a home inspection report for a customer. I'm a home inspector and I do home inspections. So they might not understand what emissivity is and it would just be confusing to them. So I'm going to exclude that option. I do want to leave background temperature, but transmission, we're not using any IR windows. So again, that would be extra information we don't need to include in our report. Average temperature, yeah, that's important. Image range, sure. Image date and time, that might be important to the customer to know. Camera model number, probably not something they care about. Same with serial number, manufacturer, calibration range. All the rest of these options down at the bottom. So let's just focus on the important information for this particular customer report. Background temperature, average temperature, image range, and image time. So once we're done selecting the options we want to appear in our report, we select the back option here. Next, we'll look at marker information. So again, we could turn it all off at the top if we wanted to. Because we're going to simplify this report and focus just on temperature, we'll again turn off emissivity, and let's also turn off standard deviation, and we'll leave all the rest of the temperature settings turned on. Then we'll click the back option, and comments and text notes. Remember I said when you add individual remarks to each image, say as you're doing your inspection or as you're reviewing the images later, you may or may not want those available to the public. If you do, go ahead and leave this toggle turned on, and each one of those remarks that you've added to every image will appear. If you don't want those to show, go ahead and turn this off. Last but not least, we've got footer left and footer right. So let's look at footer left. I will go ahead and add the creation date so I know what date I created this report. And then I'm going to go back, and you can see now it's changed from nothing to creation date. And finally, I'll select footer right, and I'm going to select page number. I like to know what page I'm looking at. Okay, so this is it for page layout. I've gone through each one of these different options, configured the report to include the information I want, excluded the information I think is unimportant, and now I'm going to go back to the main screen. So I've just finished the page layout. Last but not least is second to last is the report summary. So we'll take a quick peek at that. Let's look at edit report summary. So again, remember, it doesn't take you directly to the screen to enter the information. You need to tap the add option at the bottom right-hand corner. And here is where I would be able to add a report title and a report summary. And then once I'm done entering that information, I would tap the done option in the upper right-hand corner. I'm not going to waste your time making you watch me type, so I'm just going to go ahead and cancel out of this. And then we're going to go back. And we'll go to the very last option on the screen here, which is page size. And here you can see we've got two choices, US letter or A4. So you simply tap on the area that you want to select. Again, we're done with this, so we go back to the main report area. We've added 4 images to our thermal image report. We've edited our cover page. We've left our table of contents on. We've selected which options to show for each image and each marker in the page layout section. We decided not to include a report summary, so we're going to turn that off. And then we've got page size at the bottom. So we're all done. So in the upper right-hand corner, remember, the last thing we need to do is tap the save option here. So we tap save. We wait for the progress circle to tell us that it's done. Then we wait for the reports to sync to the cloud, which they have. And here you can see that this is the report that I just created. This is the date and time, 8/28/12/39. So just like in the PowerPoint slides, I'm going to show you how we can go in and view this report. So tap anywhere on the report screen. And this is a preview of the report that I've just created. So I entered the company name, Fluke Corporation, the location, Everett, Washington, this logo, this report title, and this report subtitle. You can see I'm looking at page 1 of 6. And if I want to look at the next page, which is the table of contents, I swipe left. Here you can see we've got 4 images that I've included in this report. All of the images are assigned to the asset group called Plant 1. And the first 2 images are assigned to an asset called Boiler 1. And the second 2 are assigned to an asset called Motor 1. So we go to the next page. Here we can see the thermal image, the visible light image. We can see that it's assigned to an asset called Boiler 1. It is not currently assigned to a work order. And here you can see, because I only included a few options in the image info, background temperature, average temperature, image range, and image time, that's what we have here. I did not include things like camera model number, camera manufacturer, etc. So just short and sweet, very succinct, focused in on exactly what information the customer or manager would need to see. And down here for marker information, we've got center point, hot point, and cold point. So these are all system generated markers. And I've got background, min temp, average temp, and max temp. I did not include the emissivity or the standard deviation here. So I'm ready to look at the next page. Here, once again, same set of information. You've got the thermal image, you've got the visible light image, you've got the image information and the marker information. This image is actually assigned to an asset called Motor 1, and it's also assigned to a work order number 3. You can see here we've got center point, hot point, and cold point, plus a custom marker that I added called PO. So that particular marker is also included on this table, so the customer can see that. And you can also see the note that I've added to this particular measurement. So it's date and timestamp with my username, and it also includes my remarks. So we've got that. So now that we've viewed the report, let's go back. And if we wanted to edit the report, remember there were two different options. I could tap here on the three little dots. It's really hard to click those three little dots. Tap those three little dots and tap edit, and that would take us into edit mode. I could also delete the report or click cancel from here. So the second option is to tap anywhere on the report, and down here in the bottom right hand corner you can see we've got the pencil icon. If I tap the pencil icon, it takes us into edit mode. I can go in and make any changes I want to the report. I can tap update, and that would make the changes, that would save those changes. Next, if I wanted to share or email the report, again, you tap anywhere on the main report area, and in the lower right-hand corner, you'll see the share icon. So if I tap on the share icon, it launches my email application. And here I can just type in the to area, my person I want to email this to, and then tap the send. Okay, so let's go back. And the last thing I want to do here, let's start at the home page, is create a basic report. So you've just seen me create a thermal image report. So next I'm going to create a basic report. So tap on the three lines in the upper left-hand corner. Tap on the reports option. This is the list of all of our reports. We're going to create a new report. And this time around, instead of a thermal image report, we're going to create a basic report. So here on the report content screen, you can see we don't have the report summary option, but we do have all the other options, and I like to start at the top. So right now we've got 0 measurements selected, so I'm just going to tap on that. Here now you can see that the sort or the filter option includes all of our measurement types, not just thermal images. So I can include 376 measurements, logged files that I've logged in my account, maybe a couple of those. Then I simply scroll down. So maybe I want to include my 3000 FC reading that I took on February 16th. Scroll down, maybe another 3000 FC measurement I took. And here are some thermal images. These should look familiar. I want to include a couple of those just so you can see what they'll look like. So now I've selected a total of 6 items to be included in my report. So once I'm done reviewing which options to select and I want to add those options to my report, I go to the upper right hand corner and tap the add button. Now you can see there are 6 measurements that I've included, the 2 376 log files, the 2 3000 FC measurement readings, then there were 2 thermal images. So I'm happy with the measurements I've selected to include my report, so I tap the back arrow. Now you can see it went from 0 to 6. Next on cover page, I'm going to go in and tap edit cover page. Looks just like it did for the thermal image report. So I'll type some of the same information I had before. I select a logo. For report title, I type in, this is a basic report, so we're going to add that to the name of the report. This is for the month of August. Oops. And then I'm not going to include any additional information or cover page. So I'm done building my basic report cover page. So I'll click on the option here in the upper left-hand corner to go back to the main report content screen. I will leave the table of contents on. I'm going to look at the format page layout options here. You can see there's a lot fewer options to choose from. We have the header choice. We could go into basic information. This is again where we would see assets and work orders that we've assigned our thermal image to. We can leave this on or off depending upon whether we want to include it. I'll just leave it on, and I'm done reviewing this section, so I go back. I can choose to include my comments and text notes or not, but you'll notice that there is no image information section and there is no marker information section here. So that is not available for us to configure in this particular report. So I'm going to select footer left because I'll make this similar to, I like to be consistent, so I'll put down my creation date here. And then at the very bottom, footer right, I'll include page number. And now that I've finished this section of my report, I'll go back again to the report content screen. And last but not least is the page size. So I can choose from US letter or A4. I like US letter, so I'm going to leave that as it is and go back. And I've selected all the different options in my report that I want to configure, and I'm done. So I want to save all of these changes in my new report. And the system is saving my report. It's syncing my report to the cloud, and here you can see on 8/28/1247, this is the new report I just created, Plant 1 Inspection Report Basic. So I tap on the report to view it. Here's what it looks like: the company name, the address, the logo, the title, the subtitle. This one says Basic. I swipe left. Here's my table of contents. Here's the first 376 log file. It's not assigned to any asset or work order. The next 376 log file, measurement that I saved, are included in my report. It's not assigned to any asset or work order. The 3000 FC reading, this is assigned to the distribution panel. And the other 3000 FC reading, which is also assigned to the distribution panel. And then our familiar thermal image reports, which are, this one is assigned to the boiler with no work order, but here you can see in a basic report, we do not have the image information or marker information. The next one is also assigned to the boiler 1 asset, and again, no image information or marker information. So we go back to the home screen. And that concludes the presentation portion of our 5th Fluke Connect workshop. Tomorrow you will be receiving an email thanking you for attending. It will include a link to the recording of this presentation and a link to register for the next Fluke Connect workshop on Wednesday, September 23rd, while I will cover getting started with Fluke Connect web app. Getting started with the Fluke Connect web app. Also, at the conclusion of this session, you will be asked to provide feedback on the presentation in a short survey. Please take a moment to do so. I will be taking questions now. As a reminder, please keep questions to the topic we just covered. If you have other questions or your question doesn't get answered, please feel free to contact our technical support team at flukeconnectsupport@fluke.com or 425-200-0080.